Hey guys, this is the Prince of Mastodon, and I'm doing a commentary video for Empire Total War multiplayer. This is a Britain versus United Provinces battle. I'm in command of the British, and my opponent is Turner in command of the United Provinces. Just so that you guys know, I have officially played more battles in Medieval 2 Total War, and I'm still loving this game. Despite all the map imbalances and all the little tweaks that the game needs, such as mortar balancing, this is probably still one of the greatest games ever made. So if you have the means to play this game, definitely play it. Alright, let's go look at my army first before the battle starts. Oh, before I go into this, this is a early period battle, meaning we don't have those elite skirmishers that you find in late period battles. So in my front ranks, I have 6 units of light infantry. These are basically my poor man's skirmishers, just because there are no green jackets or Ferguson riflemen in this period. Then I have 6 units of British line infantry here. These are your classic British soldiers here, capable of holding a line against overwhelming odds. Then I have 2 foreign units here. One is my Hessian line infantry, and these are my German guys. And next to them, I have my Special Forces unit, and these are my Gurkhas. And in case you're wondering, yeah, people consider the Special Forces unit, like using them online, they consider that to be a little cheap. So I'm only using 1 unit of Gurkhas. And I made sure that this was a non-rank battle, because I do not want to win a battle with Special Forces units. Alright, in the last part of my army, I have my cavalry, and that's 4 units of these dragoons here. And these guys don't have guns in the early period, and the reason I like using these guys is because of the movie Patriot, and that's where Jason Isaacs commanded the dragoons in that movie. He was a bad guy, of course, but there's something about bad guys in those kind of movies where you actually admire the bad guys more than the good guys. Alright, so my opponent strolled his artillery right into the forest here. Not a good idea, because I have troops right next to them. It's not going to scare them off. So let's look at my opponent's army before the battle starts. He has 4 units of 3-pounder horse artillery. 2 of them are here, and the other half are on top or near this hill. Then he has, I believe, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 units of line infantry, all with little upgrades, just 1 chevron per unit. Then he has 3 units of light infantry. Then the rest of his army, he has, it's like 2 squadrons of regiment of horse. And he has started the battle here in the forest, and that's where I deployed my Gurkhas. And I put them in the forest just because I figured that's where Gurkhas were most at home at. The Gurkhas, they have a very interesting history. The British first met them in the 1800s in Nepal, and the British were so impressed with the way they fought, they actually made peace with them, and they incorporated them into their army. And ever since, they've become friends, and they actually fought with the British alongside them in the Falkland Wars, which is pretty incredible considering how far the Falklands is from Britain and how far from where the Gurkhas live. But if you look closely, they have these swords here, the kukris, and they were capable of easily slicing a man in half. If you look at the blades, they seem kind of long and thin, but I've actually held one of these in real life, and they're more like short swords, and they're kind of curved at the end. They have a wicked curve actually, kind of like the like those Greek swords. But yeah, you can easily slice like a coconut in half with those. Anyways, on the right flank, my opponent reinforced his line with line infantry, but I reinforced my line with my British line infantry. So it's a very multinational force holding my right flank. Alright, here, look what I'm doing. I am massing my cavalry here, or at least 2 squadrons of dragoons, and I'm preparing for a little charge against my opponent's center here. Like, I softened them up with my dudes here. Now I'm going to launch a frontal assault right into his dudes. And typically this is inadvisable, but if you time it just right, you can actually break through his lines here. So look at this glorious dragoon charge right here into the center of my opponent's army. Now that's typically inadvisable, as I said, but if you time it right, yeah, you can break him. And I totally advise it. It's very glorious to watch. And I took the other half of my dragoons, and I destroyed his 3-pounder horse artillery. Now I'm going to take these dragoons, and I'm going to join the fight in the center with the rest of my cavalry. Here they come. Dragoons for the win. And let's see what happens. His gather's still holding out against my dragoons, my initial dragoon charge, but now here comes the rest of my charge. And let's see how well he holds out against this sandwich here. Look at that. Their swords are drawn and they are hacking down these enemies of the crown. And look at that mass rout from the center of my opponent's infantry there. That typically doesn't happen like that, but here it did, and I was quite proud of that. So I'm just going to keep driving in here. I'm just going to drive from the battlefield. It's very glorious. Alright, we're still fighting it on the right flank. Got his regiment of horses. And here's my Gurkhas. My Gurkhas are still in this, and they have hardly lost any troops. That's how sweet these Gurkhas are. You can actually read accounts of British soldiers fighting against the Gurkhas in the 1800s. And what they were saying is that the Gurkhas would actually, they would jump to the ground when the British would fire, and then they would jump back up, and then they would cut them in half with their kukri sword. And it was a very terrifying sight for these British soldiers who had never seen anything like this in their lives. But yeah, now they're buddies now. Alright. Here's a little fight in the center here. This is, well, the last of his troops. He had this regiment of horse. I'm sorry, his general's bodyguard. That's where his general's at. He's somewhere here. And he's trying to join the fray with his 3-pounder horse artillery teams. It's pretty brave. Alright. So here's the climactic part of the fight now. Here's my glorious dragoons, fighting for king and country. And I see his 3-pounders, and I don't really need these line infantry, but they want a piece of the action too. They've hardly had any action to do in the beginning. So I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to fix bayonets here. And the British actually love to charge after they discharge their volley of bullets, and they would charge into the enemy, and they would shock them with their bravery and their discipline at close range. Here we go. This is definitely the final part of the battle here. I'm going to charge into them, and let's see how long these guys can hold out against my British troops here. Look at that. Action is everywhere. And everywhere the enemy is in retreat. Very good battle. And that was a victory for me. I killed 1,529 of my opponent's troops, and I lost 838 of my own. Turner, in command of the United Provinces, killed 697 of my guys, and he lost 1,672 troops. Good game to Turner.